Hello, dear listeners. Do you enjoy playing video games with your best friends? Then I have the pod for you. I'm Philip, host of the Gaming Together, a cooperative podcast. Each week, my co-host Nave and I break down a cooperative experience in gaming, and we are always looking for new co-op partners to join us. So come play with us on the Gaming Together podcast.
So I'm standing over this toilet taking a piss, and I'm playing my Pokemon, and I dropped it in the toilet. I remember the Game Boy just tumbling into water. And I remember screaming for my mom, trying to get this Game Boy
Wait, how
out,
old were you?
and she yelled at me. And I
Oh
was
my
just,
god.
traumatized. I was like, no, my Pokemon.
That's Gaming Together, a cooperative podcast. Come on down, co-op partners.
This episode is brought to you by Dragon Snack Games, Buffalo's full-line hobby game store featuring one of Western New York's largest selection of board games, gaming miniatures, model paint, dice, role-playing games, collectible card games, and more. I have actually been to this place. It's massive, much bigger than you would think. Check it out. That's Dragon Snack Games. Hello, Nomads, and welcome to the Nomads of Fantasy podcast. My name is Brandon, and we're going to be talking about the second episode of the first season of the Book of Boba Fett show, and it is called
The Tribes of Tatooine.
Tribes of Tatooine.
Yes, sir.
That's actually
Dun, dun,
that's a
dun.
cool title. I'll tell you what, they know how to name these episodes. These are cool names, you know. But yeah, who am I here with? I'm here with Eric.
Hello.
And Dave.
Ichuta.
Yeah, nice.
The old classic Huttese curse.
Is that really what it is?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the assassin. That's what the assassin spits back at Boba today.
Oh, okay. All
and
right, cool.
Jabba throws it at Solo at some point in the first movies.
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
quite what it
I guess
means.
now that
but
you
Nice
say
callback.
that's what the internet
Yeah.
says.
So anyways, this show, right? We're basically just doing hot takes, just quick reactions. We're Star Wars fans, and this is highly focused, like 30 minutes or less, and we just want to get into it and just kind of speak from just our reactions to it. So I haven't even talked to you guys since I watched it, and I think we all just watched it and finished it up within the last 15-20 minutes. So what did you guys think of this episode?
I liked it overall. I was struggling to figure out if I liked it more than the first episode or not. I think I did a little bit. I think there was some more scenes that I enjoyed in this episode over the first one. But as far as like if we want to give it a rating right off the bat, I would say I probably stick with my 8.5 that I did last episode as well. I think it's kind of on the same level.
Okay.
It was a good one. A lot of world building. It's like I don't know about you guys, like the Tusken Raider stuff, all the flashback stuff. Like it's cool and all. Like the train scene, that was pretty badass.
Yeah,
that was fun. But I want to see more.
It's
present day.
basically a Western.
Yeah, the Hutt standoff. I was hoping that would keep moving.
Yeah, the
forward.
Mexican standoff with the Hutts.
But yeah, the Hutt seems like it's going to be like the season arching storyline, and that it's not going to end up coming to completion for at least a couple episodes. But the backstory ones, the train things, like Tatooine Native Americans fucking shit up, like dirty galactic expansion across their lands.
It definitely felt like that. Like how everybody was saying, all right, so Mandalorian is going to be a Western, but in Star Wars. And I'm like, and it kind of was. But now, after seeing these last two episodes, especially this
Dude, this
episode,
is straight up a train heist. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
Straight out of a Western.
Yeah, everything about it, like you said, Dave, like they're the Native Americans, and we thought you were savages and all that stuff, and totally was. So I would say I would give it a 7.5. I struggle with the Tusken Raider content, even though it was cool seeing the action.
It was good, but
they're just not a part of Star Wars I've ever. It's like, what's next, Jawas? So I personally, I have no interest. I adore all the other stuff though.
The scum and villainy in like the present day is great. Like when they go into that casino and you see people like gambling and Max
Yeah.
Rebo's
Yeah.
I love it.
still playing
He's
playing his jizz
still
music.
jizz wailing.
Yeah, he's wailing on that jizzer. So
We learned that it's not called jazz in Star Wars. Apparently, it's called jizz. So
I already
if you
knew
say
that, but like
I didn't know
love
that
that. I
till,
love
like,
that
yesterday.
everyone's just
I don't know
discovering that
whose
for the
idea
first
that
time.
was, or yeah.
It was George Lucas, that sick fuck.
Well, you know what? Let's go through the story and kind of talk about the moments that happened, because I think I'm going to be like it was last time. You know, I really like the stuff that is in the present day more than the stuff about where he came from. So I'm also, I don't know. I hope this is it. I hope there's like the next episode is like how he left them, but
Yeah,
maybe
that's-
not. Maybe I mean he kind of was with
I
them.
feel like we'll probably get this duality of like present and past. Like I feel like probably throughout the whole season until it kind of comes together to a head.
Some Tuskens will show up in like the last episode and help them fuck the Hutts up.
Probably.
Call it right there.
I'm hoping that they do less and less of the flashbacks and like focus, like you said, focus more on some of the current day stuff, because I find that stuff more interesting as well. Like I want to know, you know, this rivalry between the Hutts and Boba Fett, like where that's gonna go, and you know how they're gonna interact with each other.
Well,
So-
whenever he's having this flashbacks, that means he's in the Bacta tank. That
Mhm.
means he's not fight. I mean, not that like the older Boba Fett's got to go around fist fighting every episode, but I mean, you know what we sign up for? It's Boba Fett. Come on.
Oh yeah.
You know. So I'm just being honest.
Yeah, a certain
Yeah.
point they're gonna have to get to, like, because I was wondering, like, you know, why did he even bother staying with them? Because like they took him prisoner basically and treated him like shit, and was just, I don't know what they were even keeping him around for at a certain point, but why he ends up leaving is going to be an interesting part of the story too. Why he leaves the Tusken Raiders and goes, because we were talking last one about like what's Boba's motivation, what is best in life, Boba,
Mhm.
you know, so
Right.
crush your enemies, to hear the lamentation of your women, and to see them driven before you. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was nice seeing that this episode picks up right where the last episode left off, where Fennec was sent to get one of the assassins alive, and Boba and his Gamorrean guards took him back to the palace.
The palace. Yep.
And what are we calling that palace, by the way? Fett's palace?
I guess
I
now.
mean, to me, it's always just Jabba's palace, but yeah, I guess it's
Yeah.
Fett's palace now.
But yeah, so you know he's taken back, and then so it starts off with her kind of bringing that assassin back. I
They're
actually
interrogating him.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, where is this gonna go? Are they just gonna kill him? He's like, no. And then they open up that Rancor pit.
Dude, I was so
I was
excited
like, wow, yeah, they
when
did
they
it.
were like, how are you gonna deal with a Rancor? And I'm like, yo, they got a Rancor, and then the fake
Yeah.
out was
There's
really
no
good.
way. You can work your way up to a Rancor.
It's like, is there I don't know, is there more than one Rancor? Can they just go out and capture a Rancor?
Yeah, they're
and
all
bring
over
one
the
back,
place.
you know? You
They're all, well, I mean, in the
I thought that was
games,
fine.
like Force Unleashed, they're all over the place. So
Right.
Yeah,
And there's
yep.
there's one in Knights of the Old Republic and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I can't imagine them going out and just capturing another Rancor.
you never know. That could be something cool this season. It could be like their Cry Dragon episode.
That would be cool.
Get ourselves a fucking.
So
Rancor.
let's get to probably one of the highlights of the episode, which is basically him and Fennec take Assassin, and he's like, all right, I know who did this. It was the the assassin.
Well,
said-
the
'cause
assassin
he
admits
says-
that he was sent
That
by
was
the
the mayor.
mayor.
Yeah.
Because he was scared. Yeah. Because
Yeah, that's what it was. And so then they go to the mayor, and it was really cool how he does it, because they're trying to be all like manager, like, oh, let me speak to your manager. Oh, if I can just kind of help you. It's just he just walks
the
through.
slimy
kinda
guy
barges
pops
in.
right out as soon as you see his
Mhm.
slimy face.
Yeah.
I had to chuckle. It was good.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool. And I noticed just how gorgeous, like when Boba Fett has the helmet on, he just looks so cool. And I
And
wish
that's
he would
we
leave
haven't
it on.
got. Yeah, we haven't gotten that much of that yet.
Keeps taking
Which,
it
like,
off.
that's what everybody wants, is to see Boba Fett like that in action. But
They'll
like,
save
yeah,
it
he
for
keeps taking off his helmet.
Like the last two episodes
Oh,
will just be
of
balls
course.
wild.
They're
you know?
teasing
yeah.
us. I'm sure that
A lot
everybody
of
they
that
know
going
what they're
on.
doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like how he just busts into the mayor's chamber and he's just like ignoring his like handler. He's just walking in, doing what he wants to do. But one touch that I thought was really cool was like the mayor had like a translator, which we don't see that often. Usually it's like you just see the subtitles and somehow the person understands whatever language they're speaking.
Usually, like how do a lot of these aliens speak words the way we would? But his mouth was like opening up on the sides.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
That was really cool. Again, like this is what I want to see, especially in like the more urban areas of Tatooine, because the amount of creatures, and that was like what was always cool about the first Star Wars movie is like you get introduced to the cantina so early, and Luke is just looking around. It's like that was just always creepy but fascinating and fun, and so I want to see that. So I love the creature design. Thought he looked really cool.
I think one of them was in the original cantina. I forget what their race is called, like Athorians or something like that. But they're one of those minor races. Like even when they're walking down the street to the place, like you just showing like Trandoshans on the side, like they're just having tea on the side of the road or whatever they're doing with their nasty lizard yellow eyes. Like even those shots are just fucking cool. But yeah, definitely looking for more urban fights, and I don't know.
So he like goes to I forget her name. She's the Twi'lek, right? That like she's the tan colored Twi'lek that runs the casino. Yeah. They go to her place. When he leaves, it's a really cool shot. He looks very crisp. He looks super cool. Him and Fennec go out, and you can see like he's got that red light zipping back and forth on his chest plate. Mm-hmm. And I think that's like a really nice, because you got to be very careful when you take these iconic characters, especially they're not iconic just because of, I don't know, like Boba Fett is straight up iconic for how he looks. Like that's his whole thing. Is he just looks cool, and the idea and the mystery of him, right? Because he only has like 5 words before the movies, right? So before the show. So I just think that it's really cool how they just this little touch of it just brings his suit to life.
Well, and we talked about it last time. Like they changed the design of his armor for the show, but I think they did it in a really smart way, and it looks really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So just keep your helmet on, man. Oh, and then so they're in the casino. They have the like that drum kind of like, what the hell is that? Something stomping kind of thing, and
the jizz stops.
Yep, the jizz music stops, and then stop the jazz music. And then they go outside, and I don't know. I'm going to say something that's very weird, and I don't know. I think it's weird, but so they reveal these Hutts, and I'm like, oh shit, hell
twins. The big twins.
I was like, that is so cool, because like, what are you talking about? So they reveal themselves, and I will say that the CG in the show was really good, but with the Hutts, I thought they looked kind of bad, and I was like,
dude, they looked like they did. Remember when they redid redid Jabba the Hutt?
Yes,
in A New Hope.
A New Hope. It looked like that. I was like,
yes, I thought the same exact thing.
Because you know that they didn't have to do that. I was applauding how good the CG was in the last episode, and after the train episode, or the train segment of the episode, it's like, okay, so they have the ability to make things look stunning in this show, but these Hutts look kind of crude, kind of dated.
I didn't even really notice them. I was too busy watching like the dude Hutt of the twins. Like he was like palming or like wiping the sweat off his body with like a rat or something, or like a live animal. I thought it was gonna pop. Yeah. I was waiting for him to pop it in his mouth and just chew on it. It's kind of hilarious, but I felt bad for those people carrying them. I don't think those people could hold up.
I know, like they were all like wincing and like grunting.
I was waiting for Boba to pop one of them in the knee and have the whole thing fall over, and chaos ensues. But
that would have been good.
Cool part on this was when they brought out like their bounty hunter dude, and it's like
the badass Wookie,
this giant like black furred Wookie that carrying like a light machine gun, and he is just massive, and he looks like he is ready to fuck some shit up. He's a warrior.
Thank you for bringing a Wookiee into the show. That's not Boba Fett. I'm sorry, but that's not Chewbacca.
Chewbacca. That's Chewbacca's cousin.
Or like just ones that look like him, and they're just kind of in the scene, but they don't have they're not a character. Like finally,
Not all
another
Wookiees are
character.
good, but apparently he came from the Star Wars Darth Vader's comic books.
Yeah, I had to look this up.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
because I didn't know. I was kind of curious. His name is Black Kirstantan, something Kirsantan.
Okay.
That's what it is. But
Yeah,
super.
Yeah, this was
he'll
definitely
pop
the-
his nose in later.
Uh-huh. This was definitely the highlight of the episode. Like we said, it's like a Mexican standoff. You can just like feel the tension between Boba Fett and the Hutts. Like,
so
there's this
cool.
power struggle that going on there, for control of Mos Espa. And, that's going to come to a head at some point because the Hutts kind of back down, but they say like, we'll be back basically. Like sleep lightly, bounty hunter.
yes, and the look that Wookie gives him. It's like
Yeah.
crazy eyes.
And he, like, growls
I'm-
at him.
Oh, I loved it. And I'm like, oh, dude. Like, I was just like, and that sucks because they do this shit. They should have done this at the end of the episode, to be honest with you. It should have just had him sleeping in the back of the tank, going through the other stuff. Because I think it's, even though it's pretty good.
Yeah, because it got me pumped. Like, oh yeah, what's
Yeah.
next?
Not that the Tusken Raider stuff was anticlimactic or anything, but it's all in the past, so there's no worry about anything. There's nothing crazy has happened.
It's in the
You're
just
just talking
he
in sign
lives.
language, and all you hear is Boba talking the entire time. But so another, I don't know if this whole season's going to be written by Favreau, but he has written the first 2 episodes, so
Okay.
at least
Okay.
it's in good hands. So I feel confident that the story will, play out nicely.
Okay, that does make me. I didn't notice that, but that makes me feel better. That especially if he is doing, because the guy has a vision, and he's just going through his era. I mean, the guy is just got it figured out. He knows how to give fans what they want. I mean, I don't know. He's great. So, but anyways, it transitions into. Did I forget anything else with the present day stuff? Because otherwise,
No,
No,
That's
this
the
is
end
kind
of-
of where it goes into Boba Fett training more with the Tusken Raiders.
Yeah.
And then it goes into like the big old drive-by train scene where this huge ass speeder train comes speeding along the sand and just starts shooting at the Tusken Raiders, killing a bunch of them and killing a bunch of banthas and all that. So,
how come a
and then-
bantha goes down in one shot, but like you'll see a Tusken Raider take
Yeah.
one shot, and
I was
he's,
wondering
like,
that too.
able to get up. And
You
I'm
got to imagine those banthas have thick skin,
Yeah,
It's
all
like
that
a
fur.
fucking woolly mammoth.
It could be like a goat, where like how like a goat will just like run and then like get scared and freeze and it just falls to the ground. I wonder if banthas have that thing where they just like I
They're
got
playing
shot, and they just play
Yeah.
dead,
Maybe.
Could
But
be.
it was the cinematography was really good though. Like even though it's slow, and I understand why they're doing this because they're kind of explaining. Yo, you remember when Boba Fett showed up and he whooped everyone's ass with this thing? Like how did he learn how to do this? All right, I get it. I definitely get this. But I thought it was gorgeous to look at. I mean, it's got to be hard to shoot out in the sun like that, and unless it's in a studio. But yeah, maybe it's in a studio. I don't know.
Probably
I thought,
that Unreal stuff.
yeah, maybe it is.
A lot of
But either
it's
way,
gotta
it looks
be.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
can't really
for sure.
tell. You can't tell any difference. They still don't have. He finally got a hood this episode because he goes through his training
Yeah.
and he learns how to
Yeah, it
fight
was
with the
cool.
stick, and then he goes on a vision quest and finds a stick to make his own stick, which was
Yep.
kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
pretty predictable.
Yeah.
Like we've seen this, like where like the person is a good fighter in their own right, but then they meet this other kind of culture and they show them like here you can also learn this way, and they struggle and all that stuff, and then eventually they get really good at it. But it is.
I want to go back. I want to go back
say,
to
yeah.
this
Uh-huh.
this Terminator 2 bar scene where he fucking shows up. He just shows up and starts bashing everybody's face in, and then he jacks their speeder bikes and takes them all back.
That's one dev giveaway.
that was great.
When that scene started and they showed like the people in the in the bar or whatever, they immediately showed like the 2 humans, and I'm like, damn, these people are too clean and too pretty. Something's obviously they're like
Yeah, they're out of place.
Like
They don't belong
They'll
in
show
there.
up again. Yeah, they definitely don't belong there. Like people with nice skin with no dirt on their face. I'm like, that was a little.
Yes,
that was a little
I
weird.
noticed that.
Like, I don't know.
You know something interesting that I noticed at the bar? Is this the first time we've seen a video game in the Star Wars universe? Did you notice they had like a little cocktail table and like two of those dudes were
They
playing.
had
it.
one on Han's
I-
on the Millennium Falcon. They have that chess game. Is it
Well,
that?
that's a board
That's
game.
not a video game. That's a board game.
This was an actual video game. I didn't even see it.
This was it was like a cocktail type little table
Really?
thing. Yeah, it was
I'll
kind
have
of
to
cool.
check that
Yeah,
out.
I thought that was cool.
So yeah, it's always cool to see Boba Fett just knock some skulls around.
I got a decent chuckle out of the speeder bike lessons with the
Oh,
Tusken
like when the
Raiders.
Yeah,
one
that
goes
was pretty
backwards and shit. That was
Mhm.
good. Oh yeah, I mean that stuff it's great. I also like that they started taking it apart, and he's like, no, God,
Don't do that. Yeah.
we can use them to keep up with the train. So, and then I would say the train scene was great. Like
Train scene was great.
it was space
It
train
was
heist.
it was very cool. Very, like you said, it's very standard, Western train heist, but it was still
There's only
pretty awesome.
There's only so many ways you can rob a train. It's usually
Yeah.
involves climbing onto it or going from the back to the front. But
The
a lot of cool stuff.
the one that's in the all black, the one Tusken warrior. I think there's like the family. There's like everyone else is part of the tribe, but then there's like the actual like family, like the leader.
Yep.
He's wearing black.
There's
and then
there's
his-
the chieftain in there. There's like the warrior.
Yeah, and the warrior, badass, the one that's training
Mhm.
Boba Fett how to fight. But they go. Is it a he or a she? I don't know. I know it's a
I
woman
don't-
that is a
either
stunt double.
one-
but
yeah.
Any of them.
I'm gonna go that I'm starting to think that might be a female because it's very slender. So I'll just say she for right now. But
I want to know what the Tusken Raiders look like under the mask.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do we? I don't know.
Do we get to see that? I don't know.
But anyway, she crashes her speeder into the thing and makes us jump. And, like,
That
that
was
was
cool.
cool because like we kind of
Yeah.
seen like how hard it was just to do that. It's like all right. So she got on, and then she sneaks. She doesn't go on like on top like everyone else's. She actually goes inside. I'm like, yeah, and you just see this cool shot where the camera's just going left, and she's just fucking people up like like Captain America's in there, kind of like taking people out. And I thought it was cool, but then she pops her head up, and he's just like, oh no, there's like two more back there. He's like, oh all right, and they just get pulled one by one. And I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was just kind of comical, but cool action at the same time. I love the train scene and that fucking conductor robot shit.
Yeah, the droid just
Jumps
abandons
out.
ship.
He's just
jumps
panicking.
out. Yep.
Panicking and
He's like,
just
"Ah,
trying to
screw
get
this."
the fuck out of there as quick as he could, which was interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, and then after that, he proves himself, so then he gets to do his vision quest with a
Yeah,
good
fucking
old
nose
lizard up the
lizard.
nose. Yeah,
Whatever.
Well, hold
It
on, but
was
before that though,
trippy as hell.
the guys, the crew or whatever that was
sorry.
on the train,
Mm-hmm.
they were delivering was it drugs or sugar or what is this spice?
Spices, drugs, yeah.
I don't. It's from Dune. Spice.
Drugs.
Yeah, right?
I feel like that was a reference. Is it drugs?
Yeah.
Drugs. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where we also learn a little bit more of connecting like the adventures of Han Solo, right? Because Kessel, right?
Spice mines
He
of
talked
Kessel.
about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, dude, are we gonna go back there? I don't know, probably not, but still, it was like, what's that all about? And like, why does he care about spice? And like, why was that the question?
Right.
So I wish I knew more of Boba's, like, and like last episode I was saying, like, what is he living for? Like, what is his goal? Now that he's like a crime lord or not, whatever. Now that he's taken over Hutt's place, like, what is he trying to do? So like, again, like, why does he care about spice?
They're
It's
probably
interesting.
trading drugs in his territory. He wants if you're gonna have spice coming through, you're gonna have to. I forget what he calls like the kingpin of the area. He keeps using like a word for it, but we got to take his cut.
Doma something
Yeah.
you talking about?
Yeah.
Daimo.
It's, Daimo. That's what
Daimo.
it is. Yep.
Kingpin, sure. But it's not. He's not a Mos Eisley either. He said it's Mos Espa. So, which is also kind of cool to know that there's a
Mhm.
differentiation. Because I always thought that Jabba was in Mos Eisley because that's kind of where they were in the movies. But then, yeah, Jabba was just always out in the desert. I never knew what city
Mhm.
he was nearby, which was kind of cool.
There's a couple different big cities on Tatooine.
Well, anyways, I don't know. So I mean, that was basically the episode, right? So
Mhm.
we have some really cool action. We get teased early on in this episode. I think everybody is a big fan of that. But I don't know. I went on Twitter and I see people, they're loving this. So I mean, hey, if you
Yeah.
if you want to learn more about the Tusken Raiders, I bet you're having a blast. Me personally, I don't, I don't know. I kind of like them being this mischievous, not like Jawas where they're mischievous, but Tusken Raiders were just always kind of shooting at you and kind of
They're
dangerous.
definitely doing some work to like humanize them, I guess, and like see where they're coming from. Like they have their own tribes and traditions and everything. But like you said, it depends on whether you care about that aspect of Star Wars or not. And, at this point, I care more about what's going on in present day, like you were saying. So I definitely want to see where a lot more of that stuff goes. I hope the flashbacks get lesser, or like at this point in the next episode, he leaves the tribe and, it kind of transitions to his own story.
Once you get through the backstory and kind of fill in the gap between the end of Return of the Jedi and, where he is technically now in the universe. So.
Yeah.
Because at one point, he's going to leave the tribe and he's going to go... kind of gunning around with the Mandalorian is kind of how he left the tribe, I'm going to assume, or if he was just nomading his way through Tatooine.
I think it seemed like he was just, off on his own at the point where he crossed the Mandalorian's path.
Which is cool. And you get the armor back. After you get the armor, you get the guns. You get the palace. So...
Yeah.
Just making his way through.
Yeah, so I don't know. That was it. That was the episode. I would say my favorite part was the Hutts with evil Wookie.
I'm always a fan of that type of like power struggle tension stuff. So I just
they'll build that up for a little while and then that'll come to a head towards the end, and who knows, hilarity ensues.
Mm-hmm.
I would say. Well, I would say that the first 2 episodes are probably the hardest episodes to pull off. Like you have to have the first episode, which is just hard to pull off, right?
Well, right now, they're building up his backstory. They're building up a conflict. So you got to have that before they launch into, a full arc.
Yeah,
meet everybody's high expectations of like, because Boba's been such a mystery all these years.
Oh, yeah.
And, I don't know, coming out now, like you gotta
come
out swinging, but not bust at all. No, don't blow your load too early. As they say.
Yep. Yeah. So
as the Jizz Whalers say.
Oh my god. But anyways, so again, it's good. It's good. It's not bad.
It's good. Yeah.
It's not perfect.
I feel like I'm on the same level of like hype, I guess, that I was at the beginning of The Mandalorian. I feel like The Mandalorian started out really slow too.
Yeah, but The Mandalorian did one thing. It ended the first episode perfectly.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Baby Yoda.
Yeah. Baby Yoda.
And I was just like, oh, fuck.
There hasn't been a Baby Yoda in Book of Boba Fett yet.
This doesn't have it. We almost did. We almost had a little cute little lizard that was probably going to be his little buddy, and all of a sudden, boom.
No, he just went up his nose and made him trip balls. That's about it.
And he did like Star Wars peyote or whatever that was. So that was interesting. And then it leaves, so that was silly. But yeah, I know. All right, I'm good. You guys got any closing comments on this episode?
No, it's definitely leaving me wanting more for sure. Like I'm looking forward to watching the next one just to know what happens and to get more of the story. But at this point, that's about it. I'm just looking, for more of where the story goes.
Yeah, agreed. More Boba.
Yeah,
more Boba.
Well, if you like this conversation, it's like a quick review from our main show. But Eric, if people want to get a hold of us, how can they get a hold of us?
Sure, you can follow us at Nomads of Fantasy on Twitter and Instagram. You can email us, nomadsoffantasy@gmail.com, and you can visit the nomadsoffantasy.com as well.
All right, other than that, we're out of here.
May the Force be with you.
This episode is brought to you by Dragon Snack Games, Buffalo's full-line hobby game store featuring one of Western New York's largest selection of board games, gaming miniatures, model paint, dice, role-playing games, collectible card games, and more. I have actually been to this place. It's massive, much bigger than you would think. Check it out. That's Dragon Snack Games.